Hey guys, divorce is never just an emotional battle. It is often a legal and financial one too. In today's discussion, we examine the seminal case of TNL and TNK, which is a significant legal battle before the Singapore Court of Appeal, which ultimately resulted in what is known as the TNL approach in matrimonial asset division in long single income marriages. More than just a dispute between two former spouses, this case provides valuable lessons about financial fairness, legal principles, and the delicate balance between legal entitlements and moral obligations. Now, TNL and TNK were married for 35 years in a traditional single income marriage. The husband, TNL, was the breadwinner, while the wife, TNK, took care of the household and raised their 3 children. When their marriage broke down, the wife initiated divorce proceedings in 2013, which eventually led to an appeal before the highest court. The main disputes in the appeal revolved around whether the 50-50 division of matrimonial assets ordered by the lower court was fair, and whether the wife should receive substantial lump sum maintenance, and who should bear the legal costs of the proceedings. Among the contested assets were the proceeds from the sale of a jointly owned property known as the interlace, as well as money withdrawn from a joint bank account, as well as the proceeds of 2 surrendered insurance policies. Another key legal issue was whether the structured approach to asset division in ANJ and ANK should apply to long single income marriages like this one. The husband argued that he had contributed most of the financial resources and should thus receive a greater share of the assets. The wife argued that her non-financial contributions as a homemaker were equally important and warranted an equal division. A crucial aspect of the case involved the legal principles of common intention constructive trusts and resulting trusts. A common intention constructive trust arises when an asset is legally owned by one party, but the other party has contributed financially or otherwise, with a shared understanding that both have a stake in it. This is often invoked when one spouse pays for a property but is not listed as a legal owner. A resulting trust, on the other hand, arises when one party contributes financially to the acquisition of an asset but does not receive legal title. That means the house is not registered in her name. So this leads the law to presume that the contributor has an interest in the house even though she does not have her name in this house. The Court of Appeal carefully assessed whether these doctrines applied, ultimately determining that asset division in this case should follow matrimonial law principles rather than trust law. In its final judgment, the court upheld the 50-50 division of matrimonial assets, emphasizing that in long marriages where one spouse was the sole breadwinner, equal division was the fairest outcome. The interlaced property sale proceeds were returned to the asset pool, as the husband had spent the monies from the sale of the interlace without the wife's agreement at a time when divorce proceedings were imminent. The court also ruled that substantial expenditures by one spouse during or shortly before a divorce should generally be added back to the asset pool for fair division. Regarding maintenance or alimony, the lump sum was reduced from 171,000 to 100,000, as the wife had already been granted half the matrimonial assets and required only a short-term financial cushion to transition post-divorce. Now listen carefully. The Court of Appeal also stated that the appeal court would not readily interfere with a trial judge's decision as to what percentage of the matrimonial assets was to be given to each party. This was a matter that was squarely within the trial judge's discretion. Moreover, a broad brush approach meant that there would be a range within which the appeal court had to accept the trial judge's determination to be defensible. In order to warrant appellate intervention, that means for the appeal court to change the outcome from the lower court, the trial judge's decision had to be shown to be clearly inequitable or wrong in principle. In this case, there was absolutely no reason to disturb the lower court's decision that a 50-50 division of the matrimonial assets was the equitable division. Her decision was perfectly consistent with the precedent cases involving long single income marriages, and there was nothing based on the facts that warranted the Court of Appeal's intervention. Beyond the legal technicalities, this case highlights deeper themes about financial fairness, respect for non-financial contributions in a marriage, and the importance of moving forward. A key takeaway is the importance of transparency. Dissipating or concealing assets before divorce often backfires, as courts can trace and reinstate such funds back into the asset pool. Another lesson is that both financial and non-financial contributions matter. The court's decision affirms that homemakers play an equally vital role in a marriage, and that contribution should not be overlooked in asset division. Finally, this case serves as a reminder that prolonged legal battles can be emotionally and financially draining. Sometimes the real cost is not just in legal fees, but in the toll it takes on one's well-being. In the grand scheme of things, clinging to past grievances and possessions leads only to suffering. True peace comes from knowing when to let go. When the fight is over, what remains is the path forward. Thanks for joining me in this discussion on the seminal case. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.